Hey guys, it's Dustin back with another Listening Room album review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the latest release from Mr. Steven Wilson. It's entitled The Future Bites. Was released on January 29th of this year, so it's been out for a couple of weeks. Out on Caroline International. Um, Mr. Steven Wilson, obviously known for his work with Porcupine Tree, his solo work, his time in Bass Communion, his time in Storm Corrosion. Really hoping we get another record from those guys. That's the collaboration he did with Mikhail Ackerfeld from Opeth. Just absolutely phenomenal album. Just love that one. Love it. This, the newest solo record, this follows up 2017's To the Bone, which was a pretty divisive record for his fan base. It saw him moving away from the sound that he had become known for with Porcupine Tree and with solo records like The Raven That Refused to Sing or Hand Cannot Erase, and saw him leaning more into a pop oriented style of songwriting. And this album goes even further away from that sound. Um, I've heard a lot of varying opinions on this album. Um, a lot of people, writing it off, saying that Steven's trying to write songs for the radio, or this is too pop, or it's too this, or it's too that. And, if you went off those opinions, you would think that this record, sounded like Taylor Swift, or that it had Cardi B features on it. And, Wilson's never hid his love for pop music. If you've ever seen the Amoeba video series, What's in My Bag, um, highly recommend those. They're very entertaining. They basically, Amoeba Records in Hollywood just takes an artist, hands him a bag, kind of sets him loose on this little shopping spree kind of thing. And then they sit down, talk to the camera, and tell you what they picked and why they picked it, what those records mean to them. And one of the most recent episodes of this was with Steven Wilson. And he talked about ABBA. He talked about Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love album. So pop music is not something that he shies away from talking about. It's not something that he shies away from professing his love for. And even though the traditional prog rock elements don't really show up here, um, this album is very progressive in nature, and there are elements of progressive rock on this. They don't come in the form of Yes and Genesis worship the way a lot of people would like them to. I think a lot of Wilson fans just want him to rehash The Raven That Refused to Sing and Porcupine Tree material over and over and over again. And I never really understood that mindset of wanting an artist to just continually repeat themselves. That's how you get Nickelbacks and Five Finger Death Punch. Basically bands the world doesn't need. Um, but this definitely, the pop music that's on here is definitely more in that vein. You still hear influences. Like I hear a lot of Peter Gabriel when I listen to this. I hear Radiohead when I listen to this. And I've listened to this record a lot, man. I really, really love this album a lot. And definitely, I know for a fact this will definitely not only be on my end of year favorite albums list, but it's probably going to be pretty high on there. Um, the album kicks off with Unself, which is just a short intro track. It's a little over, about a minute long. There's some kind of distant, echoey vocals, and there's actually a deluxe version of this, a box set. It has a few discs. I don't know if it has the Blu-ray in it. There was a lot of different formats for this, but there's a box set that has like 10 additional tracks, and there's actually another version of Unself on there that kind of fleshes it out a little bit more. I think it's around 2.5, maybe 3 minutes. But on here, it just serves as like a minute and some change as an intro track. And then that leads into the first proper song, Self, which very electronic. Steven's voice has an effect on it. There's this big chorus. Awesome video for this song. If you haven't seen the video for Self, check it out. It uses like deep fake technology, and Steven's fit. Like, the video kind of looks like the album cover. It's just Steven in this suit, just kind of staring into the camera. But through this like deep fake technology, his face like morphs from, himself to Daniel Radcliffe to Joe Biden and Donald Trump and Robert Downey Jr., David Bowie. It's creepy, but it's really cool, and a really cool song. King Ghost, the next track, minimal. Like I said, there are definitely some moments on this that definitely bring Radiohead to mind. Maybe something off of like The King of Limbs or A Moon-Shaped Pool, or maybe some of Tom York's solo work. And this track definitely would fall into that category, King Ghost. Track 4, 12 Things I Forgot. I think this will probably be one of the more popular tracks on the album. I think this track could sit comfortably on the Hand Cannot Erase album. It's definitely more guitar driven, acoustic guitar, and definitely kind of breaks that feel of this album feels very cold all the way through for the most part. It definitely has this electronic kind of detached cold sense, and Wilson's delivery can kind of fit that mold a lot of times as well, so it works so well on this album. And while I think that 12 Things I Forgot is probably going to be a lot of people's favorite track, it's actually one of my least favorite tracks. It probably is my least favorite track, just for the reason it's not a bad song by any means. It's beautiful melody and depressive lyrics that Wilson's known for, and but it just kind of breaks the flow of the album up a little bit for me. It's not a big deal though. Like I said, it's a great song, and yeah. Imminent Sleaze, the next track, super funky, soulful, almost has a disco vibe to it. Big backing vocals. There's a lot of tracks on this record that rely heavily on these big backing vocals, soulful, and Imminent Sleaze is definitely one of them. Man of the People, one of the more mellow tracks on the album, came out I think right before the record released. I think maybe a day or two before, but that's one of my favorite tracks, Man of the People. Definitely a low-key song. It has these kind of tinkling kind of synths in the chorus. It just kind of brings to mind like almost Nine Inch Nails Ghosts kind of stuff. Then it has this really just jarring kind of drony chord that hits, and when it hits, it's kind of startling for a second, but works really well. Fantastic song. And then you get to the big boy, Personal Shopper. This thing is epic. This was actually released as a single. This album was originally supposed to drop in June of 2020, but because of COVID-19, Steven couldn't really do the marketing and promotion that he wanted to do for the record, so it was pushed back and didn't see a release date until January, this past January, just a few weeks ago. The Personal Shopper single actually dropped in March of 2020, so that single came out almost a year before we actually got the album. And this song is a doozy, man. Epic. It's almost 10 minutes long. Starts out with these tinkling synths over this kind of steady beat, falsetto vocals from Wilson. Another good use of the big backup vocals that I was talking about. The instrumental on this just very has like this nocturnal feel to it to me, and reminds me of something that you might hear on like Daft Punk's Tron soundtrack. And there's a I don't know if you'd call it a bridge or just a section of the song that features Elton John doing like this strange kind of spoken word piece where he's listing off these like non-essential items like a shopping list. Um, One of the items taking a little jab at Wilson, him, sees him taking a jab at himself, and it's like deluxe box set. And of course, we have that for this album. But just a fantastic track. Personal Shopper is just it's absolutely epic and just awesome, and I love it. Um, the next track, Follower, is definitely probably the more rocking song on the album. Very bass and drum driven, almost kind of Queens of the Stone Agey in parts. I think some people dig that one. And then the album wraps up with Count of Unease. And this is another one where we really see, some Radiohead influence, if you want to call it that, or we can definitely draw the Radiohead comparisons on this track. Definitely sounding, very like Moon Shaped Pool or King of Limbs. And yeah, that wraps up the album. The whole thing just kind of seems to focus on these concepts of technology and consumerism, and the promotion for this is really cool. Like Steven's just built this whole website and all these different things that talks of the future Bytes as being like this mega corporation that takes over the world, and the music videos tie into it, and it's just a really smart, really really excellent record. I absolutely love this thing, and if you're a fan of artists like I named Radiohead or Peter Gabriel, if you're a fan of Wilson's past work and you're not completely closed-minded, and want to hear him make the same Porcupine Tree record over and over again, definitely give this thing a try. It is it's wonderful. I absolutely love this record. Can't recommend it enough. Like I said, definitely going to go on my, it's only February, and I know that this is going to be on my end of year best of list. So yeah, Future Bytes, Steven Wilson. Check it out. If you're new to the channel, if you're just seeing me for the first time, click the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this album. If you're a Wilson fan, I've been listening to him for quite a while. And, I think this is one of the best records he's done. As far as the solo material goes, I absolutely love it. And I love the direction that he's moving in. Let me know what you think. Do you love it? How do you think it compares to the stuff that he's done? How do you think it compares to The Raven or To the Bone or Hand Cannot Erase or Grace for Drowning or any of that stuff? So yeah, subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you soon, man. We'll be back with lots more reviews, and getting into 2021, I really want to start doing some album rankings. There's some artists that I already have my sights on that I want to kind of rank the discographies and do like album anniversaries. So yeah, we'll see you soon. Take care.